All right. So, John. Yeah, well, excellent, John. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about is this game changer index assessment. This is something that you've been looking at for us. Explain that to us.
Well, I've got with me here sort of a little book. Hello, I'm a game changer. Yeah. On this program, we like to be cutting edge, and this really is cutting edge. It's like brand new, and it stems from a company called EG1 that joined forces with a leading academic, Dr. John Mervyn Smith, and what they were looking at is employers are looking to get the best talent. Because we live in a competitive world where you need to get like the top people and you get the top people performing. So there are people in organizations, they call it talent, and they're really interested in getting the talent, the people, and there are certain people that they've identified that make this huge disproportionate difference, and they call these people game changers. And they call them game changers because what they do is they change the game. They do things in a completely different way. So often organizations are very risk averse, and they will focus on incremental improvement, slow, steady, whereas game changers, they change the game. So Apple is like such a game-changing organization.
John, we talked about that that same game changer applied to CVs as well.
Well, I'm a game changer, and what made this research fantastic for me, because there's an assessment tool that's called the Game Change Index. I was, in the same way that organizations look at the talent, I was looking at how people can market and sell themselves, and how could you change a CV, a resume, to get better results. And so what I wanted to do is to game change, to have like a paradigm shift. And when you start looking at CVs, you find that people do broadly the same thing. They go to the internet or wherever they can, they get a template of a CV or resume, and they fill in their details, and they send it off. Whereas when you game change the approach, you start to look at things differently, to think about things differently, and actually to do things differently. And one of the most significant things that you can shift or game change is when you write a CV, you tend to think it's about yourself. I mean, it's the obvious thing, isn't it? A CV, my CV, your CV, it's about you, it's about me. But the reality is your CV or our CVs, they're as much about the recipient as they are us. And as soon as you change your paradigm, the way that you look at it, you start writing it from a perspective for the recipient, because they're the people that are receiving it.
So if you were trying to get a job with, I guess, Apple, which is a game changer, you would look at the values of Apple, why they are, what they do, and you write your CV accordingly.
Well, I think what you have to do, to begin with, you need to match what they say they're looking for, but also you need to look at what's the difference. Because, I mean, I'm sure you've looked at job boards on the internet, and I think a lot of viewers will have done. These days, an employer can advertise a job very easily, and they will get large numbers of applicants. And the problem is that lots of these applicants meet the requirements. So simply meeting the requirements that the employer said that they're looking for is not enough. You've got to have a difference. And so what you've got to do is you've got to focus on what is the difference you can bring that they've not asked for, and tell them about it in your CV.
Brilliant. Okay, John, I'm sure we'll talk more about later. Thank you very much for that insight. That's brilliant. As I've been talking earlier, anti-radicalisation is a